Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the DCL Duo podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel. And Sam, jingle time. Do your jingle.
Simply the best, better than all the rest.
There it is. All right, it is review time. It's Sam's jingle. It's the signal for review. So here we go. This week's review comes from S. Dart, which I think is Sarah Dart, who we've had on the show or is coming on the show soon. She writes, fun and informative. Love the podcast. Very informative and fun to listen to. Brian and Sam are such lovely hosts. I enjoy the dynamic between them, and I love Sam's perfectly clear and crisp voice, as opposed to, I guess, my Marvel mouth.
It's not Sarah Dart, though. It's Samantha Dart.
Samantha
Brian.
Dart. Yeah. Oh, I think we also have a Sarah Dart who might be coming on. Maybe they're related. Who knows?
I don't know.
Well, regardless, thank you for that review. We really appreciate it. Yeah, Sam loves any direct compliments to her.
I love it. I am a sucker for a direct compliment. I'll be honest. I eat that stuff up. so thank you.
It's the only way I survive the day. All right. So thank you for that review. For all of you out there listening, please remember.
Feed me and tell me I look pretty. That's right.
For all of you out there listening, please remember the easiest way to support the show. Head over to Apple Podcasts, hit those 5 stars, and if you leave us a written review, we will read it on the air at the top of one of our main episodes. Sam, our guest, it's not happened enough that we've had Tom on this show, and it's because we're a Disney Cruise Line podcast.
That's true.
And Tom is a DVC podcast, well, Disney podcaster with the DVC bent.
Yeah. Disney Parks, right?
Exactly. But we're excited to welcome Tom and Karen to the show this evening. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Intro there, Sam. It's still your intro, Sam. Sorry. So usually you do the guest intros, but I know Tom, so I felt like I needed to do this
it's
intro.
fine. You know, you've spent more time with Tom than I have, Brian, so it's okay for you to jump in and take over a little bit of my duties, especially because that listener review was so specifically towards me. I feel like, you need some compensation.
Throw me a bone.
For that.
Throw me
exactly.
a little love. Yeah,
exactly.
you gotta.
Yeah. It's funny though. Tom and I have been on shows together. We've never actually met in person. I don't think we've never been in a park at the same time. So
no, we have not. Well, that's okay. If it makes you feel any better, my 3-member, podcast team, we've been doing our show for 8 years, and all 3 of us have never been together at the same time.
All 3 of you. Oh, that's
never.
hilarious.
We've one-on-one. We've done one-on-ones with each other, but never all together. Yeah.
I feel like this is like that
funny.
Batman paradox. Like somehow you're all the same person because you've never all been in the same room at the same time. So there you go.
It is. Yeah, I just do different voices, really. I mean, that's what it is. I just do impressions of other people, and I do the show to myself. So
to be fair, Damon was a puppet for a while, so it could have happened. Yeah.
He still is.
Yeah. Tom, for our listeners out there, explain you have your podcast, a Welcome Home podcast. We've been on your show before, so I'm assuming some of our listeners have heard of the podcast, but tell folks about your show.
Yeah, and I think we share a lot of a fair amount of the same listeners, but obviously you guys have different ones too. But we do, for a long time now, we've been doing a DVC oriented podcast. Now, listen, DVC is a really interesting topic, but you can't do a podcast on it every single week just talking about DVC. There's only so much you could do about DVC. So it's almost like we do Disney parks from like a DVC owner's perspective, kind of. And really it's just, I've described this to you guys before. It's like, we just like to hang out and talk about Disney stuff. And that's kind of the vibe we always go for, is just, it's just a hangout, it's a hangout. We're talking about Disney news where, we go on tangents about all sorts of random stuff all the time and talk about our regular lives. So, but yeah, it's just a fun hangout to come and, if you like Disney stuff and you like just, hearing people just chat about, what the latest news is, that's what we do. And then of course, we sprinkle in some DVC stuff here and there. So
nice. Yeah. Tom's show is definitely worth a listen. If you haven't listened to it before, head over there. So
especially the one where you guys were on, because you schooled me on this whole Disney Cruise Line thing.
We gave him a little tutorial. So for those who are interested, we gave Tom a tutorial. We'll call it a DCL 101 tutorial, and answered a bunch of his questions and some listener questions about planning his first Disney cruise, which is what we're going to talk about today, and how that whole shebang went, because Tom and Karen are now back from their first Disney cruise. So welcome to the Castaway Club, you guys. You are now silver. Congratulations.
We have status, Karen. We've got status
Something,
now.
yes.
The very bottom of status, but we got
Hey, it's
something.
still something, okay?
We got
Listen,
something.
you get a lanyard when you're on board
Oh,
next
heck
time.
yes. My daughter
Speaking
will love
of
that.
DVC and DCL, by the way, one of the rookie mistakes we made is that I didn't realize that if you go to the DVC like stand every day, they have a different free thing every day to get. And I felt really weird about it the first time I went over there, but then the lady there was just like, "You're here for the free thing?" I'm like, yeah, the free thing, please. Yeah. I was like, can I have the free thing? But I think I only did it like three days out of the 7, I think maybe, or 3 or 4.
What did we get? Like a magnet, a hat, and we got the reusable straws that our
Reusable
daughter
straw, which
was
I'm pretty sure we
obsessed
lost.
with. No, one of them
there-
was still here, but
there
it
you go.
broke.
Well, so I will say oftentimes the gift is like the chapstick. So that's like a day you can totally
But the
skip.
reusable
Yeah.
straw is clutch
Yeah,
now. They have
that's
those
good.
Yeah.
flavored straws on the
Ugh, I
cruise
hate
lines.
those
which are
flavored
so
Oh,
weird.
Oh my
Karen
God,
loved
I
those.
loved them.
Oh
Oh my
She's all about
gosh.
'em.
Oh God, hot take. Yeah,
All
no,
about 'em.
I do not like those. But they also have sometimes luggage tags. You can also get lanyards. So for DVC members, they will give you lanyards as well. Sometimes they'll show up in your room. Other times you have to get them from the desk. It kind of depends. But yeah, you can actually get a lanyard for free, even if don't have any Castaway Club status, if you are a DVC owner. So yeah, if you're on board a Disney Cruise Line ship, go to the DVC desk when they're open and you'll get free stuff. You can get free stuff every single day, but some days are better than others.
I do have to share one fun fact about the flavored straws that we learned is that they are not vegan
They're not vegetarian.
Oh.
and they're not vegetarian. And we're like, how
How?
does one put meat in a
It's
straw?
Gelatin?
It's gelatin.
It's gelatin,
exactly.
okay.
It's
Yeah, I had a
gel-
feeling.
Tom,
It's a-
don't tell
it's made-
Cassie.
Oh, my sister and brother-in-law are vegetarian, right? So and we always forget, they sometimes pretend like the gelatin thing's okay because the gelatin's just, it's in a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's hard to avoid. But yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that, but it makes sense.
I will tell them, or you can tell them that if they don't listen to our show, that if they find kosher marshmallows do not have gelatin in them.
They're actually just coming back from Alani, so I'm going to try to get my sister on my show to talk about Alani. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway,
Well, we got to talk about so this is the natural extension. You had the preview. You went to school on DCL with us, and now you're back. And so it's time to find out how things went. Tell folks, so you haven't cruised before, so we can dispense with the what are your Disney Cruise Line creds. So this is your first cruise.
no creds.
But tell folks about the sailing that you decided to take.
Yeah, so we did the what was it, 7-day carrot cruise? Yeah, 7 days on the Treasure. And so this was back in May. This is, where we took a little bit of time for us to get on here to talk to you guys. But this was back in May. So, we're still pretty early on in the Treasure, right? Like the Treasure's still still brand new. This particular trip was to the Western Caribbean. So we went to Cozumel, we went to Jamaica and Grand Cayman, and then Castaway. So I will tell you, Karen and I are not huge port people. Right. So I'm a little bit of a curmudgeon about this. I'm just like, all of these ports are tourist traps. That's all they are. Right. Like, and there's just a bunch of shops and they're just, they're all selling you the same bracelet. And I'm not even joking though. At Cozumel, we're walking around and they're like, my 7-year-old daughter, and they say to her like, "Oh, well, what's your name?" And she says her name, and they're like, "Oh, we have your name in a bracelet." And then we were like, "All right, we'll buy that one." And then she gets offered the same bracelet about 20 more times as we're walking.
At
around.
least.
So like, but the nice thing is we were happy staying on the ship though too. So like we're
That
fine
says a
with
lot.
yeah.
You got to equip her with no, my spelling has a silent Z in it. And
You're just like, yeah, exactly.
Well, let's
yeah, okay.
rewind as to like, why did you choose the Treasure in particular? And did you choose Western Caribbean just because you wanted to sail the Western Caribbean, or because it was just the week that worked in your vacation schedule?
I would say we don't really care about where we go necessarily in the Caribbean. Like if we went somewhere else, we probably care, right? But the Caribbean is like, we like the waters and stuff like that, and the beaches and all that. That's all nice. The reason we chose the Treasure specifically was because I'm a parks guy, so this is the park ship, right? I had to see that Haunted Mansion bar, like I had to. Like I couldn't live with myself if I didn't do that or go to. And I mean, I'm a huge 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea fan. Like that was my favorite ride when I was a kid, and I was like, I have to go to this bar. Like I can't, I have to be there. So for me as a parks person, we felt like we really wanted to do the treasure, and also just it was the new shiny thing, right? So it was a big family trip with Karen's family. And so Karen's whole family was with us. And so, and they know we're the Disney people. So I believe your dad asked us, he was like, well,
He actually did. He basically asked, like, what do you think we should do? And my parents are big cruise people, especially before the pandemic. They love celebrity, especially. So I, as a teenager in young 20s, I used to go with them to Europe and such. So I had definitely been on cruises before, and so they realized, like, hey, we don't really want to do like a 3-4 night one, especially with young kids. We want to make it worth it. And so when we found out that the Treasure was doing the 7 nights, we're like, well, A, it's the newest ship, so it's going to be beautiful. Was what, like 5 or 6 months old, and B, the fact that this could be a long time on the boat, and really too for our kids, they love the beach, so we figured those types of ports would be perfect for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now tell us, Karen, how many family members were in this trip? Like, what was your entire sailing party?
So if I'm doing the math correctly, I think there was 9 of us. So it was Tom and I, my daughter, my parents. We were actually celebrating a little bit early, but their 50th wedding anniversary. So that's why we were doing this trip. And then my sister, her husband, and her 2 kids. So we had 3 kids with us, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And so
3 rooms in a row.
Yes, which actually it worked out pretty nicely in the end, having that back to back. It was a lot easier to kind of shuffle around and get people together, but it was definitely a lot of people, and I'm sure we'll talk about that with some of our events that we had.
Yeah. Now, who was the head of planning, right? Like Tom, or did you take on the planning as the Disney person, or did Karen?
That's
Did
actually
you
kind
take
of
on the
funny.
planning?
I definitely did not. When it comes to Disney, I let Tom do that. I like to just kind of be like the passenger princess here and
Sure,
just
I
go
love
with
being
the
passenger
flow.
princess. I'm with you, Karen. Yeah.
But it's funny. My parents actually got a travel agent, and so she kind of was helping out with this. But then Tom was also like, "Oh no, we need to do this," especially after meeting with you guys, and had a little bit of better idea of what we needed to actually get done to have a good time.
Oh my gosh! Now I want to know what your travel agent disagreed with us over.
I don't know if she did or not.
I don't know. She did all of the initial booking. I booked all the stuff after that, right? So
that's a good way of putting it.
Because there were a lot of massages going on. In fact, everyone in our party, every adult in our party, got a massage on the ship except for me.
Nice, I like
But-
it.
Sure, that was his choice.
That was my choice. I'm just saying everyone else got a massage except for me. There were massages going on. We tried to do the adult dinner for my in-laws, which actually did not work out. We were not able to get that. What else did I book? We didn't even do any excursions ahead of time.
No, we
honestly,
booked it, like 2 days before the one that we did?
Yeah, the one we did, we booked like on the ship 2 days before through the app for Grand Cayman. We did the submarine, the half underwater submarine, which was great. We had a great time. We actually, I think Cayman was probably our favorite port besides Castaway, obviously.
You were just trying to relive 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. In a much safer way.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about getting down to the port. Did you guys pair this with any time at the parks, given that you were going out of Port Canaveral?
Of course
we did.
We had to, right?
So my mom lives about 2 hours from Port Canaveral. So about what? Like she's like maybe an hour and 15 minutes to Disney, right? So we frequently, like ever since she moved there, we will drive to her house and then stay overnight, and then we'll drive to Disney the next day if we're doing a Disney trip. And we did the same thing with Port Canaveral. Ironically enough, my mom was also leaving for a cruise the same day that we were, also from Port Canaveral, at the same time.
Oh, nice. But a different terminal and a different line.
Different terminal. They were going on a Royal cruise. Theirs was a 23 or 4 days?
Yeah, and they actually backed it up with a second one. Then they can go to Europe too with it. It was across, across the ocean.
It was a repositioning. They went across the sea, and then across the Atlantic, and then they had to switch rooms, and then they did the like a cruise around Europe. So, but theirs was like 20 some days. But it was just funny because we were like, oh, we're all leaving at the same time for the same
We
place.
passed them on the road.
We passed them on the road on the way there because they drive like older people do. But we did the opposite, I feel like, of what most people do, and we ended our trip with the park stuff because we were coming back on Saturday morning. And this was kind of a last minute ad. I said to Karen, I said, listen, we're going to be off the ship like really early in the morning. Like, we can drive to Disney in an hour and a half. We can be there before some of the parks open, and we can make a whole day out of it on Saturday. And then Saturday, of course, turned into Sunday. And then, so we ended up doing 2 days at the end of the trip, and we were lucky enough to be able to secure rooms. Where did we stay? Wilderness Lodge.
Oh,
That's
my
right.
goodness.
One
How
of
could
our
you
favorite
forget
places
that?
ever. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to
And
stay
we
at
got an
Wilderness Lodge.
upgrade.
Yeah, we got upgraded, although it was kind of a downgrade because we went from 2 beds to 1 bed, but that's neither here nor there. We got upgraded from a studio to a 1 bedroom, and I
Which
said to
was
Karen
beautiful, by
immediately,
the way.
which was it was fantastic. It was Copper Creek, so it wasn't Boulder Ridge. It was Copper Creek, so it was Wilderness Lodge proper. And as soon as they upgraded us, though, I was like, now we have 1 big bed, and then the pull out bed. And I was like, I know who's sleeping on the pull out bed, and that's gonna be me. So, um, yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, we did the parks trip after, which was actually kind of great because we weren't really exhausted or anything from the cruise. We were raring to go, and we go to Disney so much that we kind of just took it easy,
Yeah. Well, let's rewind to getting to the port. Yeah. So how did you guys get to the port
We
then?
drove.
Okay. And so you parked at the port. What was your port arrival time, and how did the whole check-in process go? We tried to prep you a little bit, have all your documents, all that kind of stuff, but how did that process go?
So that wasn't it wasn't bad. I will say the interesting thing. So, well, what happened was we ended up getting there way before our check-in time. The reason was because my mom was leaving at the same time. My daughter got very impatient and just wanted to leave, right?
And
I
also
was
upset, too.
she was very upset. So we were like, all right, we can go now, but just so you know, we're gonna have to stand around outside the terminal for like an hour here, right? What was our check-in time? Was it 1:15?
No, it's 12:45.
12:45. 12:45.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12:45.
Really,
I
for
will
the
say,
first time, it wasn't that
yeah.
bad of a time, honestly.
No, and honestly, we were standing out there and we were chatting with one of the cast members, and she was like, "Once the rest of your party gets here, just tell me, and I'll take you in." Which I was surprised by because I thought they were a little strict about the arrival times, but seemingly not.
It very much depends. If they're all caught up, right? Like if particularly at the later port arrival times, which I would call yours a later, it's not like a very late, but a later port arrival time, there if as long as everything went well with clearing customs and everything's going smoothly with check-in, they're going to be very, very caught up. And so it's going to be super easy to let people in a little bit early for port arrival times if they've got a port arrival time similar to yours. So I'd say at that time, it's hard to get in early if you show up at 11:15 because that's when they're just starting to let people into the terminal, although occasionally they're all caught up even then and they'll let people in early. But I would say the later you show up, the more likely it is you can probably get in even before your port arrival time.
Well, and once they call boarding, things move very quickly because they can clear the boarding hall out in about a half hour to get people on the ship, and then it's just a constant flow of people
Just
coming
constantly
through.
people going on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Our problem was that we were the only ones there. So
Right.
everybody else was still in Orlando at their hotels.
Right. So you're
Which, to
waiting
be
for
fair,
them all to arrive.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad for them either. My sister and her family ended up actually doing the opposite of us and went to Disney first. So they were at Disney proper. They took private transportation. My parents had flown in the night before, took a transportation from their hotel and back. So I think my parents honestly was probably the easiest transportation of all of them. My dad
They were
set
the
it up.
latest,
I'm not
though.
surprised. They were the
Yeah,
latest. Yeah.
they were the latest though. They came up much later than everybody else. We actually got on the ship without them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as long as you're in different rooms, it is generally speaking, it's easier to all check in when you with a full room. I mean, you can, I think, do it separately, but it's generally most of the time they want you to check in as a room. But even if you're linked with other parties, you don't have to check in together as long as your room is there and you have all your documents and somebody else isn't holding one of your your passport or something like that, right? So yeah, so you guys check in, you go through, eventually obviously you go through security and all of that, and you board the beautiful Disney Treasure for the very first time, your first Disney Cruise Line experience, your first Grand Hall. Karen, what did you think of the Disney Treasure Grand Hall?
Oh my gosh. I just will never forget seeing my daughter's face, honestly. Like I was
Yeah.
taking that in mostly because I don't think she really understood how big of a ship. She beforehand was so worried that sharks were going to eat the ship. And so for her to
Very
go in
concerned.
there and see
Very
this,
concerned.
Oh my
it
gosh,
was
that's
the
so cute.
cutest thing ever just watching her. She's like, oh my goodness. It was so beautiful. And I will say, because I don't know, there were still quite a few people when we were getting on. It didn't feel all that crowded though, because of how they were doing it. So I obviously Disney knows what they're doing when they're getting people on board, because it felt like there were only a few people around us and we could really be able to, get a view and be able to take it all in.
Tom,
I have
what
to
do you
say,
think? Yeah.
yeah, I have to say, so obviously because I pay attention to this stuff, I saw a lot of the concept art, and the concept art made the Grand Hall look very dark. The colors look so dark, and I was like, "There's no way it's this dark." And then when we got in there, it's like, okay, so that's just the concept art made it feel really dark. But obviously, when we walked in, it was amazing to see everything, especially after seeing so many of the pictures and everything, and that whole grand entrance, where they announce your name and everyone's there clapping and all that fun stuff. That was great. We had it was really neat getting on board, and that was part of why we waited for our niece and nephew and Karen's sister and brother-in-law, because we wanted to kind of do that all together. We thought that would be kind of nice to do. But yeah, I thought the ship was beautiful. Well, at least the Grand Hall was amazing when we walked in, and just all the details and everything. Like walking around and looking at and Disney does this with everything everywhere with those mosaics and everything that they have, and you just know that somebody handmade that, and it's just a beautiful ship.
We actually talked to somebody about that, like all of that tile work was done by hand by an artist, and like it's amazing. And the concept art thing is a good point, because I can't stand it when people are complaining about, oh, the ship doesn't look good. It's concept art. Until you see it in person, you don't know what it's going to look like. So yeah.
And people have said similar things about the Destiny, although not about it being dark, but like there's a bunch of, buzz about, oh, it looks very stark on the Destiny, right? Like it's not very ornate of
Because it's
decoration, but
concept
it's
art.
concept art. You just can't
Concept art, yeah.
you can't see exactly what it's going to look like in real life until you see it in real life, or maybe see videos of it, right? Like it's just, the concept art doesn't do it justice. It's
Well,
just
and
not.
if you actually look at the concept art as compared to what the treasure was, like there's a lot of differences between how they
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
conceived
And
it and
detail.
what it looks like. Yeah. Tom, I'm
Absolutely.
curious. So what kind of rooms did you said you had 3 rooms in a row? Verandas or what kind of room did you book?
yeah. So we had verandas right next to the bump, right? So we were on what side were we on, Kara? I forget. We were on aft. Yeah, we were on aft. Well, the aft, it was whatever side it was. I forget now.
Aft is the back of the ship. Then
we were
port,
aft. We were aft port, I think, maybe.
Okay, port is the
Yeah.
left side if you're facing forward.
Yes.
Yeah, we were on the
And-
left side. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
there you
yeah.
go.
I just
we're
don't remember
still
because
new
it's
to
like
this.
2 months ago.
It's okay. The way you know port and starboard is port, like the word left, has 4 letters.
Oh, okay.
Starboard
Oh.
is longer. Like the
I,
word
I'll
I
left.
remember
honestly
that.
just didn't even remember
Yeah.
what side of the ship we were on,
Yeah, we
let
were on the
alone
left.
port and starboard.
And then forward and aft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but we were on the left side of the ship,
There you
towards
go.
the back.
And
Oh,
actually, I
were we
think
towards the front?
we were towards the front.
Oh,
We were
towards the front.
forward.
Okay, we were towards the front. I
Forward,
forgot. We were
yeah.
forward. We were forward. So we're right on the edge of the bump. And so we had the verandas. And then we had an issue with our rooms to start off with, which is, I'm not entirely sure whose fault it was, because it still doesn't really make any sense to me what happened, because we had our room number. And then we got to our room number. We're like, this is not the right room. So-
Well, let me back it up though. The reason being is that we wanted my parents to be in the middle, and so that way with the kids it was a little bit easier. We also wanted to have the connecting room to be my sister, because she had 2 younger kids. It would be a little bit easier, and then us to be on the other side because our daughter is a little bit older, and then have the connecting verandas. And so when we got there, it was all jumbled up. We were in the middle, and I guess part of the reason, Tom, you can go into more detail about this, is but we ended up going down to customer service, who is really great, but in their system, it showed that the room that we eventually were in did not have the pull down bunk, and so that's why they didn't put
Which it
us in
did.
that. It did though.
I had to argue with her. She goes, because I'm like, oh no, the room we're supposed to be in has a pull down bunk. She's like, well, no, my computer says it doesn't. And I'm like,
You're
I
like,
was
well,
just
I
in
saw
there.
it
It
in
does.
person. It
Yeah,
has.
I was like, and she goes, well, it's in the ceiling. You can't see it. I'm like, yeah, but you can see it though.
You can
Like,
see
Yeah,
it.
you
Yeah.
absolutely can
Yeah.
see.
like
Right.
I know what it
You
looks
see
like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, the room that we're supposed to be in has the pull down bunk. I know for sure. And she was like, that's not what it says on my computer. I'm like, well, you got to update your computer then.
Sometimes technology is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
To her credit, she actually called somebody over like immediately to let them know that it was wrong in the system. So, which was interesting because she just took my word for it. I could just be an idiot and not know anything, right? But I mean, but yeah, I don't know what happened because we even looked at it beforehand. Like we looked at the deck maps and everything was fine. And then we got there and the rooms were in the wrong, and it was weird. And we had, I didn't even tell you this, Karen. When we went to the guest services desk, she says to me, she goes, you guys ordered a lot of stuff. So just so you know, you gotta move all that stuff to the other room. And I'm like, I know I ordered a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm aware of this. Because we did
Thank you for
The
amenity shaming me.
pre-orders, right?
Yeah.
You did
Yeah,
the you ordered the decoration packages for the rooms and all that stuff.
It
Yeah.
wasn't decoration so much. So we did the bag for my daughter that had like the hat in it, and what else was in that?
A
There
water
was
bottle?
Or a water bottle.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like a purse and stuff. And so my daughter loved that. And then I also
She still uses
surprised.
it.
She still does, yeah. And so then I also got a non-alcoholic blue cider thing
Mhm.
Oh,
with
the Cloud'em.
chocolates and stuff for her.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, it
'cause-
was so good.
Well, because
Yeah.
it had been Karen's birthday like the week before.
Oh,
So like we
nice.
were kind of celebrating her birthday on the cruise. And so we had that. And there was really only two things. I don't know what she meant we had a
No,
lot,
there was
but-
a third one. You got me the robe, which came with a
Oh,
rose.
that's right. I got you the robe too. I
Which
forgot about
that robe is like,
Yeah.
I look at him, and this is how in shock I was. I look at him, I'm like, wait, do I get to keep this? He's like,
Yeah.
yes.
She's like, this is so soft. Do I get to keep this? I'm like, yeah, I bought it.
Aw.
You
Love
know?
that.
Yeah.
So you just had to like swap out the
just swap.
Yeah.
stuff, and obviously they have to switch your room keys, and
Yeah.
and
They
then
were
make
very
sure the
accommodating,
right
though.
credit cards are with the right rooms. And all
Exactly.
that.
And the
Yeah.
only other issue there was, and this wasn't really an issue to be honest, was that we were really hoping that all three verandas could be connected so the kids could go back and forth. But because of the deck that we were on, we had the metal wall. And so
Yeah.
only
Some
two
of
of
them
them
don't
could
open.
be.
Yeah.
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 We were
Well, I
able
mean, it
to
worked
join
out.
two of them, just not all three.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you could
and-
take like a
yeah.
route through the adjoining room and then
Yeah.
come you know.
Yeah, there are some veranda walls that are not movable, and there are others that are, and so you just don't necessarily know when you're booking which one yours is and which one. So there's a good chance if you have staterooms next door to one another that you'll be able to open it, but it's not a guarantee because not every single one of those veranda walls opens or folds back basically.
So after you boarded, we always like to ask, like, where did you go first? Did you end up doing a sit down lunch, or did you go to Marceline's or the pool? Where'd you head?
The first thing we tried to do was go down the slide to the kids club and found out very quickly that the slide was closed, and I was very disappointed.
Oh, I hope you
because
have
they
to
were
go back at a later time to.
Oh yeah, I did it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't worry, he
That
was
was
going to
Karen
make
when
sure
they
he got to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
when I had them on my show, that was my biggest question. I was like,
Yeah.
can I go on the slide? That's all I want to
Yes,
know.
and
Can
we
I go
say
on the slide?
Yes, but only when it's fully open house. Only when the club is in the full open house mode.
I think, Kara, what did we do for? I'm trying to remember because
actually, because by the
I think
time
we just
that
kind of
we
walked around
boarded,
like
we did. We walked around
yeah.
a little bit, and then by the time
Yeah.
that we boarded, my parents actually ended up on there too when we were walking around. We did end up going to our room, which, believe it or not, already had some of our bags there, which was incredible. I've never been on a cruise where literally our bags were right outside of our door. It was impressive.
I honestly think they changed they changed the luggage tags recently, and I honestly wonder because we've been noticing that like bags are getting on a heck of a lot faster, and so I don't know if the new tagging system is like helping them move luggage around a lot faster. But yeah, we've had all of our bags by the time last time we were on. I think all of our bags were there by the time the rooms were ready.
Yeah, they were just down the hall from us, actually, though. They weren't actually in front of our room. They were down
we just grabbed them.
yeah, they were down yeah, they were just, we
Why
saw them
not?
like it's coming from the elevators. You're walking down the hall from the elevators, and we saw them like just sitting there, just right outside of where it's kind of the crew stairwell is. And so we're like, oh, perfect. And we just grab them and took them to our stateroom because Yeah, we know what they look like. So
Someone thought you were stealing bags, obviously.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Or delivering
Yeah.
bags. We'll pretend we're crew
Well, with
members.
the number of
Yeah.
bags we were hauling, I'm sure they did.
They
But
probably did
yeah,
deliver through. Yeah.
so
Well,
yeah.
where did you guys eventually go to eat? Because at some point you're gonna get hungry. It's lunchtime. Did you grab pool deck food or
I
like
think we
Yeah,
Ryan
did.
said?
we did pool
Yeah.
deck food,
Yeah, that's the way to
I
go
which
on the treasure.
you guys have to tell me, okay? Because
we have to
the
know this.
taco place tastes exactly like Chipotle. I
It's
don't know.
Chipotle at sea. That's what we
It's
always say. It's Chipotle at
It
sea.
was
Did
incredible.
Disney just rip them off? Is there like a secret like sponsorship deal going on or something? Because I swear to you, I got the exact order I get from Chipotle from that, and I could not tell. If you gave me a blind taste test, I would have not known the difference. It was exactly the same.
I don't think that they have any deal with Chipotle. Let me just put it that way.
So they just stole
probably
it.
they just stealing them, or they just got close
Borrow.
enough with their recipe, right, without actually infringing. So
I
I
hit
don't
that
know.
up probably every day. I mean, I think I
Yeah.
maybe had that every day after I
Yeah.
had it the first time because yeah.
And honestly, like the pool deck food, I know that on previous cruises that I've been on have been like, they're just like hot dogs. Oh my gosh, that barbecue was fantastic. Of course, the unlimited ice cream, the
I
drinks,
heard
just
people raving about the
everything.
burgers. Yeah,
Oh, they
everyone
were
was
good. I had
loving the
one.
burgers. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
burgers are good. The burgers are good. Their pizzas actually, especially on the Wish class, I think the pizza is excellent. It's better than on the other ships. It's like the dough is like made fresh on board or whatnot. It's just better. Yeah.
My only problem with the pizza is I felt like every time I went up there, they had no pizza. Like,
Yes, it does. It is a bit of a you have
Yeah.
to wait because pizza people just eating pizzas by the pound. I swear.
yeah, there's like people go up and it's like, I'll take that entire 2 pizzas that you have there, and then they just walk away and now there's no pizzas. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's you know,
They
they
like
should-
can't keep up.
They should do like buy the slice, and then if you want a whole pizza, they should just make you order one.
you have to, yeah, they should make you order.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's like more than 3 slices, then you got to order.
I don't
right?
know.
But-
Listen, I like to get 4 slices for myself. They're like little
Sure.
baby
They're small.
slices.
They are,
Come
yeah.
on, you
They're
guys.
small.
That's like a half a pizza already.
We-
Stopping
I
you
tell
from
you-
going back twice, Sam.
That's true.
okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I will say, I think we probably ate we probably ate the deck food as much as we went into Marceline, right? I mean, we because we always went into Marceline for breakfast, right? And I think we went there once for lunch, and then all the other times for lunch we did the deck because we were in the pool a lot.
What did you guys think? Speaking of Marceline, and on the topic of food, what did you guys think of we'll talk about main dining a little bit later, but what did you guys think of the food in Marceline, and did you enjoy breakfast there? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
breakfast is where
I
Disney
loved
I think
it.
is actually weaker, but okay, great.
To me, there's no bad breakfast. I'm a huge breakfast person, and I
Okay.
love a breakfast buffet.
As long as there's bacon, he's happy.
Listen, if there's a make your own omelet thing, I'm good. Like, and that's, they got the omelets there. They had, the little kids station was great. They had a nice selection. I like that they were switching it up every day. They had like those random Benedicts every day that were different and unique that I only noticed like 4 days in, that they were changing them out. But no, I thought the breakfast was great. All of us enjoyed it every day, I think. Right, Kara?
Yeah,
would you agree?
I think it was really good. And my only issue was that I felt like when we did go there for lunch, and maybe this is why we didn't go there all the time for lunch, I didn't feel like there was a huge like variety. Like it didn't feel like for me that there was like, of course they had seafood and stuff like that, but like I'm sure that's any cruise that you go on, they can only do obviously so much. But I feel like breakfast, they had obviously like different specialties, but it wasn't as they didn't have like feel like a Chinese day or like things like that where like it kind of like varied it up enough.
No, they did because we went the one time and they had like Indian food and like
yeah, there was like the one
yeah.
station, but I'm with you, Karen.
The
I don't
main
think
station, yeah.
I don't think that the buffet has quite enough variety
It's
on
a place
Disney
where
Cruise Line.
It's a place where, frankly, Royal does better. Royal's buffet is like much bigger and more choice, but their
I
deck
don't think
food
they're-
suffers.
Yeah,
Like, they're-
well,
Yeah.
and I don't think their food quality is as good. I think that Disney's food quality, but I think they have more variety of food, and their buffets tend to be bigger than Disney's. But to me, that's the place where Disney's food is the weakest of on Disney food is the buffet. But that's not saying it's weak.
But Did you get a Mickey churro waffle?
Yeah,
Of course we
Of
did.
course they did. Yeah, of course we did.
On
course
Yeah,
we
Castaway
did.
Day,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You,
Love it.
you
had
gotta
to.
you gotta have the churro waffles, you
You
know?
gotta. I mean, and your kid probably had Mickey waffles multiple times. Just have the churro waffles on the, on Castaway Day. Love that.
She just loved that she could have a lot of bacon. I mean, like that was because
So
Have
she
as much
takes
food
after
as she
you,
wanted.
Tom.
She does.
so we're the family that like if we're on vacation, there are no rules, right? Like as
Yeah.
far as like diet goes, as far as
Right.
like we
Pool
also
deck
like
ice cream, you can
Yeah,
have as
all
much
the
as you
time.
want. Yeah, we're the
Ex-
same with
yeah.
our kiddo. Like if you want mac and cheese for dinner every night, if you want a burger and french fries for lunch every day, if you want ice cream 4 times a day, like it's your
I'm not
vacation.
making it or cleaning it up, so have
Yeah.
whatever you want. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're on vacation. Like the whole point of vacation is that the rules don't matter, right? Like normal life doesn't matter. Like have fun, eat all the bacon you want. That's what we want to do, right? And so that's what that's what she did. She loved the buffet and everything. I will say there were a couple times we wanted to eat out on the back deck of Marceline, and it was closed often. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was like windy or something, or maybe we were just there super early. Because we also, we had all kids under 7 and under, basically. So we were all up by 6 o'clock in the morning every single day. Like there's no
Right.
sleeping in.
Oh yeah,
for
that
us.
2 and that 4-year-old that were with you. Yeah.
Oh
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we were at breakfast by like 7 every
Yeah,
day.
so it might have just not
yeah.
been open yet, but it might have
Yeah.
also been the wind conditions because they don't want your food and your cutlery
Yeah.
like blowing away.
Yeah.
Well,
It's pretty
I want to
windy.
I want to jump over to like the spaces on the ship because I know that was one of the big reasons why you guys chose to go on the Treasure. You mentioned, of course, Haunted Mansion Parlor. You mentioned Periscope Pub. We've got Skipper Society. We've got Scat Cat Lounge as well. I mean, everything is really themed out on the Treasure. Even obviously, the Grand Hall is Aladdin themed. The theaters are Neverland and Wonderland themed. Like, Tom, what did you think about all the theming? Like, was
Oh,
this
man.
ship everything you wanted it to be?
Where do I start? Okay, so the Haunted Mansion bar was amazing, right? We were sitting in there, and when you first walk in, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. But when you get in there and you look at the paintings on the wall, right? They look so legitimately real that I thought they were just paintings. Like I thought they were going to do maybe what they do at the Haunted Mansion where they like flash a light on it and like, things show up, right? What I did not expect is that as you're sitting there, the paintings are going to transform and sing and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And we sat there for hours and we didn't see the same thing happen twice. And actually it's funny, somebody said to the bartenders like, how long is like the loop in here? And the guy was like, there isn't a loop. He's like, it's different stuff constantly. And we did notice that. I couldn't get enough of the fish, the skeleton fish, and the fact that they were singing along to Grim Grinning Ghosts. Like it was killing me. It was hilarious, but also it was just great. Our bartenders were hilarious. They were really in on it.
amazing.
They were, they
gave me so much mischief because I was like laughing at everything that he did, and like he kept spraying like the smoke gun at me
in her face. Yeah, he would just go up to her face and go poof, like she's just like, which was hilarious. He was just being silly. I mean, it wasn't anything mean, but he would like say, like Madame Leota would be talking, and he'd be like, hey, he'd be like, listen, you need to listen. You need to listen.
You need to respect her.
You need to respect Madame Leota. So like. It was the people were really great into it. Obviously it's a pretty small little lounge. And the first time we went, it was pretty packed. The second time we went was on the last day and it was dead. We were it
was
one of
perfect.
2. Yeah, it was great. There was no one there. It was excellent. We really enjoyed that. The drinks were very good. We had a lot of fun with the tablet and messing around with the secret menu thing, which we did order off the secret menu. And I got the drink that comes in the box, that they open up the box and the smoke comes out. And here's the thing, I don't drink. So
and you
like,
got a death certificate. Yeah.
Yeah. All that. Yeah. So I don't drink typically. So this was, I will occasionally, but I was like, all right, well, we're on the ship, we're on the Haunted Mansion. I can't not do this, but just all the effects in the room and just the feel they had of it. It just felt so cool. And I mean, there was nobody, I feel like I enjoyed also just watching other people walk in and just be like, just like the looks on their faces was great to watch too. We loved that. I didn't get to spend a lot of time at the Periscope Pub, unfortunately. I did go and check it out and hung out there for a little bit. It was during hockey playoffs, so we watched some hockey in there. It's a sports bar, but the theming is incredible in that room. Even like just like the the taps, like the handles they had on the taps were like, I just was looking at all those and I was like, this is amazing. Skipper Canteen. So should I go on my rant about this, Karen?
I think you should.
I love the Skipper Canteen. What was frustrating to me is they had the band there. Was it the Doublooners, right? Yeah, right. So we walked by and I was listening to them play and I was like, ooh, I want to go back and listen to this, right? And so we did later. After the set was over, we started talking to the singer and she's like, oh, well, I'm not usually like, the singer, usually a guitarist is, but he's sick, whatever. So then after the cruise, I decided, because I was like, I really enjoyed their music when I went and checked them out. I was like, let me look them up. I want to, like check them out. Well, they're not a real band. Because we've been on other ships before, not Disney ones.
Disney has, so on some of the other ships, there are some duos and quartets and trios that are contracted to come on, right? And so those are like, there's one called Soul Duo, and you can find them on the internet. But like the Doublooners, Victrophonics, like those ones are Disney Cruise Line
Made up
bands,
groups.
and so they are.
Tom was so disappointed.
They are
I was so bummed.
created and put
Yeah.
together, and they don't have the same people in them every time, right? And they are on different ships even and stuff. So like, yeah, it's just
I wanted more.
They're Disney cast members. They're wonderful though. They're
They were
absolutely wonderful musicians. What did you think about the theming in Skipper Society?
Oh, I thought it was great. I wanted to spend more time there. There was a time during the day that we just kind of hung out there for a little while and just relaxed. I mean, I don't even think the bar was open at that point or anything. Like, yeah, we were just hanging out, just enjoying the music, enjoying the ambiance of it, because it is in an interesting area. And yeah, we really liked it. I mean, we're big Jungle Cruise fans, so it really spoke to that. Now we didn't get any drinks there or anything. We actually just hung out there. Although you got something.
Yeah, I got a drink there.
You did. I forgot.
I think it was non-alcoholic though. But again, I got the lovely straw, which actually I really enjoyed. It was lemon flavored.
The flavored straw, yeah.
But no, it was really good. The ambiance just was fantastic. I like that during the day, and we didn't actually end up getting to experience this, but I like that during the day they had a lot of kid activities. So they had drawing, they had, trivia and things like that. And then they obviously had some more, adult-like activities later on. But I like that it was kind of like in the middle of things, so we could just walk by and see, and we would just stop by if we had time.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the nice parts about that space is really, I think at all times of the day, kids are allowed to be in that space. And
That is
so
nice, yeah.
versus the other bars, right? The other bars that are in enclosed spaces. So Skipper Society is like you said, it kind of in a middle space. So you actually have to walk past it to get to like the theater, for example. But the other bars are really in enclosed spaces. So while they're open to kids during the day, they are not open to kids once you hit 9 p.m. And some are never open for kids except if they are closed and you can kind of go in and just take a peek, like Scat Cat Lounge is a good example of that. The Rose Bar is another example of that. Speaking of those spaces, did you guys spend any time in Scat Cat? And if so, what'd you think about it?
We wanted to. We just didn't get to it.
Yeah.
So
It's a lot to do on, a 7-night cruise. I know it sounds like a lot. I think people think, oh, a 7-night cruise, I'll be able to just explore every space. And it's like, no, there's still a ton. There's so much to do, especially if you're spending a lot of time up on the pool deck, as you mentioned, with kids. And then of course you're spending time in the rotational dining. You're spending time at ports, right? Like you're spending time in the theater, right? So there's all these things to do. Karen, what were some favorite activities you guys got up to on board the ship?
Well, we actually did not do a ton of activities, I'm going to be honest. And some of that, we did do bingo, yes, which was fun. And our daughter actually participated. Part of our issue, though, is that our daughter was not a huge fan of the kids club. And so it was interesting. So we kept hearing from people, and obviously you guys too, that, the kids club is great. And we loved it when we got to go down there. It's amazing. I think that part of the problem was, though, is that because my niece was 4 and wants to do everything that my daughter does, she had to be in a separate group because she was so young. And so I don't think our daughter really got a chance to fully experience it on her own. And she's kind of shy to begin with. So not necessarily finding people. She found people in the pool, no problem. But, she only went down there 2 or 3 times. So Tom and I didn't really get a chance to spend a lot of time ourselves. And when we did, we were looking at the artwork, we were buying art art, shocker. Or actually, we didn't end up buying
We
it.
didn't
My
buy art.
parents ended up buying.
Your parents bought art.
But
Yeah.
we didn't get a lot of chances to do other types of activities, and that's something that I think next time I really want to explore a little bit more.
One of my daughter's complaints, and I understand her on this, is that there was almost too many open houses. There was like almost constantly like either an open house or where they had one or two of the rooms closed. And so she would go down and she was like, well, why am I down here? This room's closed. I want to be in that room, or this room's closed. And it seemed to be every day they had these rooms closed off for a certain amount of time. And I didn't love that. It was a little, I don't know. It just felt weird because and I understand what they were doing. Like they were doing like, character meet and greets in those places, but my daughter just was like, well, like the room I wanted to be in was closed, or, a bunch of these other ones were closed. And so that was where there were like several open houses during it where like we couldn't leave her there too. So that was really, it's funny because I think I said to you before you went, Karen, I was like, everyone's saying that your kid's never going to want to leave the kids club. And I was like, I know our kid and she's going to be the exception. Like she just is like, she just is.
And that we try and tell people I don't think it's a universal, like the kids club is awesome, hands down. That does not mean that your kid is going to want to stay there. It can be very overwhelming and very chaotic. There are some organized activities, but a lot of it's not organized. A lot of it is like just on your own, do whatever you want. If your kid is a little bit more shy or easily overwhelmed, or if they're with siblings or cousins that are in a completely different age cohort, whether that means in the same club or even in a different club, like those are the things that are going to impact the experience and perhaps may not make your kid want to stay. If you have a super extroverted, outgoing, friendly child who is like the leader of the pack, that's the kid who's going to love the kids club and not want to leave. So but it depends on the kid's personality. And I think most people like have some idea of which category their kid fits into. Our son, when we first started cruising, was not into the kids club, but then a couple years into us sailing on Disney, then became totally obsessed with the kids club. But he was a little bit old. By the time he was obsessed with the kids club, I think he was about 8. So perhaps your daughter in a little bit, she might, and it just kind of, also the more exposure, the more comfortable she might feel, that sort of a thing. So it very much absolutely varies.
I want to ask about entertainment on board, and I want to start with, I'm not going to do shows because
no, you could do shows. No,
I know where I want to start. I want to start with Sam's other favorite entertainment topic on the treasure, which is, did you catch any of Sage and Coriander? And
we did not.
What did you think? No,
no, we did not. Listen, our daughter is a pool addict, man. So we were at the pool almost like nonstop.
Yeah. So you couldn't be down in the Grand Hall because you're up on the pool deck. Yeah.
No, we were literally, anytime we were, really pretty much the whole time we were in the pool. And occasionally, obviously we went to go get lunch and stuff like that. And we did a few other things like bingo, but like
characters and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. We did, we did a million characters because it's like just, character round robin going on. Like, it's just like, oh, there's another character. But outside of that, like, we were so on the pools, and I'm trying to think of if we even saw anything other than like doing bingo and then doing the main shows, and then of course we did the sail away party.
Yeah, I feel like this is like when we went to Disney for the first time together, right? Because there's everything you want to see, everything you want to do. I understand why people want to keep coming back for more, why you guys continuously, no matter how many times you've been on the boat, because there's always something else to see. There always will be new things. And so I know the next time we're not going to be as obsessed maybe with, looking at every piece of artwork because, hey, I know every boat is different. I know every ship is different.
Okay.
It's okay.
We're going on the Aquamouse 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you enjoy did you do the Aquamouse?
We loved it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you get to see all 3 shows? Did you get to see all 3 shows?
Of the
Aquamouse.
Of the Aquamouse?
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was different shows. They all seem the same to me. I don't know.
Different shows?
Yeah, they have the Kraken, the Yeti.
I think I saw the Kraken.
And the Golden.
We only saw the Kraken.
Yes.
So they change them. They rotate through them. Sometimes
there's a little movie poster outside the attraction that shows you what's playing that day.
I'm wondering though if they only showed the Kraken, because we went on multiple days and that's all we saw.
But they do show multiple, like sometimes they'll change it every day. Sometimes they'll change it every couple days. Sometimes if you went every single day, I guarantee you would have seen all three of them. But you might have to go every single day in order to see all three of them.
The
I did
only
take
one
my
you can get
daughter.
on the only one you can get on the treasure you can't get on the others is the Curse of the Golden Egg.
The golden
Okay.
egg, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
The
sad
Wish,
about that.
yeah. The Wish has the Kraken and the Yeti versions, but doesn't have the golden egg version. And then the Destiny will have all three as well. I don't think it'll have a fourth one. Oh, look at your cute dog coming into the picture.
Our dog just jumping into the
Sorry,
scene
he wanted
here.
to
I
come
love
say
it.
hello.
I love
Get
it.
out of there, dog.
So
No, but
cute.
I think it took probably 3 days for my daughter just to work up the courage to do it. And then once she did it, she wanted to do it nonstop. So we probably didn't do it the first 3 days. We did the other water slide, which I actually got stuck on at least twice.
Spinosaurus
Yeah,
Rex,
did.
it's not meant for adults. Let me put it out there. It's
Well,
not,
so I
get stuck on
wear
it
swim
too,
shirts.
Tom.
I wear
Yeah.
swim shirts because I don't like putting sunscreen all over myself. So I wear swim shirts. But the swim shirt just got me stuck. Like I just literally got stuck. And I was like, all right, now I just got to rip this thing off and then I'll be fine. And which I was, and it was fun. But yeah, we got stuck on that several times. But Aquamouse was great. We had a lot of fun doing that. My daughter did it, I don't know, probably 10, 15 times.
Did it with my father too. It was great.
To put this out there, the Slidosaurus Rex, adults are allowed to go on it, but it is not meant for adults. I'm going to put that out there because
Fair enough.
I did not try.
I have gone on it and I
Had
got
to doggy butt scoot
stuck.
down.
I had to
several
scoot
times.
down.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, it hurt my back too. I never felt older than when after I did that thing a couple times because I was like, oh man, this is not good.
All right. Well, we gotta jump back to entertainment and ask you guys about the shows. You guys are parks people. There's plenty of shows in the parks these days. Karen, you gotta tell me, what did you think about? Did you go to all three shows? And when I say three shows, I mean the main stage shows, the Walt Disney theater shows. I don't mean like the magician or variety act. That although those sometimes are fantastic as well. So no shade on those. I just mean the Disney productions.
So Tom and I went to three. We went to the two main shows, and then we also saw a jazz group. My parents and my sister actually went to see the two singers that were from Broadway and did all of, like the music. I'm sad that I missed that though. I am a theater girl at heart. I used to do theater. And so that kind of made me a little bit sad. I will say though, Beauty and the Beast and Moana, they know what the heck they're doing. It was on point. It was.
Was there any doubt in that?
No, I mean, let's be real. It was Beauty and the Beast was really great. I've seen it so many times. I was in it in high school as well, saw it on Broadway. They did a really great job. My only issue, and this is just me personally, I'm really sad that they did the new version, the Emma Watson version. That's what I call it. Because I don't like the storyline as much, but that's just, personally me. But
yeah, it is a retelling of the live action version. It's not, which is a little bit different than the original animated version.
I like that version better.
So,
I like what they added to the story there, but that's
the nostalgia thing for me was it. But,
I feel
But Moana, can I just tell you though, that I sat next to my nephew. I have never seen this child so still in his life. He was so glued.
Is this the 4-year-old?
No, the 2-year-old.
The 2-year-old.
Yeah, the 2-year-old.
Oh my God.
My goodness. The 4-year-old ended up falling asleep. It was her nap
Every
time.
kid's different. Every kid's different.
Oh my gosh. But my nephew, like watching his face, especially when Maui came out, I'm getting emotional thinking about it because it is just the cutest thing. He was like, the whole time. And that just shows a lot that it's like an hour and 15-minute show, something like that. And when we got back, we had to watch like behind the scenes of it because of just like them getting it prepped. The sets were absolutely incredible. I still don't understand how they did Tafiti. I don't get how they did that Taka and Tafiti and all of that. It was incredible.
I remember you're sitting next to me, and as Taka is like coming on the stage and like moving the way it was, you literally turn to me and you go, "How are they doing that?" Because it looked so real,
flawless,
and it was so well done, and so like it looks so true to the movie. And then just that transformation from Taka to Te Fiti was like,
It was beautiful.
to watch that happen in front of your face and still not really understand how it all happened. It was really pretty amazing.
Love it. Love it.
I will tell you though, show up early for that one.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
Oh yeah.
Show up early for
Yeah.
so for Seize the Adventure is probably the one you don't really need to show up early for, because they have it on the Wish. It's a wonderful show. It's actually shorter than the others. It's a really good show, but it's only maybe 35 minutes long. But I would say for Beauty and the Beast and for Moana, you need to show up early for both of those. Beauty and the Beast they have on the Dream, but it is still very popular, and it's arguably it's won awards, that production in particular, the cruise line one.
For Moana, at least they'd started adding in like matinees and such during the day to like.
That was the bad.
Yeah,
that was the bad one.
Actually,
that was
yeah,
the one
that
we
was
went
our
to.
issue.
We showed up 45 minutes early to get in line for that one because it was Castaway Cay Day when they had it, and we showed up 45 minutes early. We're like, oh, we'll be good. We showed up a half hour early to Beauty and the Beast. We were like literally right at the door. We showed up 45 minutes early to Moana. The line was all the way to the back of the ship already for the matinee. And we were like, oh, we're doing the right thing here. Cause we were like, oh, we're doing the early show. Like, we're at Castaway Cay. A lot of people just stayed on the island, right? Like nobody will be here. And then, we were like way back in the line. And I'm like, oh man, we probably should have gotten earlier now too.
You know why though? Yeah. It's because Castaway Day is your last day on the ship, right? So it's the last day on the ship, and a lot of people are worried about getting packed up. And if you have younger kids, like you were with younger kids, right? I mean, your daughter is young, but the niece and nephew are even younger. You're not staying up for that late show, or it's going to be hard to keep them up for that late show. And so a lot of people are like, okay, we're going to cut our Castaway Day short and go to Moana. So I think that's where, that's why it's so important for the cruise line to continue to have that earlier show, because otherwise a lot of people would be disappointed because they would miss out on the show in the evening. So absolutely. Well, I'm glad you guys loved the shows.
I want to shift us over to main dining. So 3 restaurants, 1923, Worlds of Marvel, and Coco. What did you think? Let's start with 1923, the sort of the blandest of the bunch. What did you think of 1923?
Classy. We enjoyed the food there. We enjoyed the ambiance. It's nice. It was it was just a chill spot. We really liked it. All the food we had there was good. We had nice seats right by the windows. So yeah, I can't. 1923 was fine. The food was good. Can't complain. Right, Kara? I mean,
Yeah, I really liked it. Of course, our last night, having lobster, my mom decided to order 2. It was hilarious.
I mean, but that's what you do, though. That's the right. She made the right decision there. I mean,
she totally did. And I really regretted not getting a second one. It was so good. Yeah, no, I thought 1923 was great. Our server was absolutely fantastic. He was so good with the kids. I'm not surprised. Our head server, he was phenomenal. There were multiple times where my nephew, in the beginning, we had him in dinners with us, but then they started to realize that he was just really struggling. He was tired, so they ended up putting him in the nursery during that time, and so it ended up actually being a lot better, to be real. And I'm sad that he missed out on some of it, but he just wasn't enjoying it, being 2 years old. So, but our head server just, he kept coming over. There were times that our kids were falling asleep. He checked on us, just making sure, like he even offered to bring over another chair, a blanket, when our kids
got the biggest
were
extra
tired.
tip of all the crew members. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, usually the head server is the one that I kind of don't leave much extra for, because usually he's only a factor if you're having a problem. And then it's like he factors in and then I will give him an extra tip if he solves a problem that we're having. So yeah.
So if we could probably have any complaint about this cruise, it was actually the service, which it was shocking to us. Because it's Disney service, you expect, really great things. And it wasn't our main server was fantastic, really great. Head server was great. Assistant server, we went very long periods of times without drink refills. And we would, our assistant server just disappeared. Like he would take our orders and then just disappear. Half the time we didn't get our drinks until after our food had already come. And I mean, and that was frustrating for us because, listen, I don't want to have to ask for a drink refill like 3 times. Like that's, you know what I mean? So like that was probably our only complaint. And that's probably why we interacted with the head server so much, because there was obviously something going on. I don't know what. And our assistant server also seemed like he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. We did come to figure out We
was
did come
weird.
to figure out, though, the fact that, with their contracts that we could have, or we actually were on when they recently switched over
They might have been
staff.
recently switched out
And
because it was
he could
right
have
6
been
months
somebody
after.
new and maybe not necessarily knowing. Maybe this was even his first cruise. And so for us, that honestly was the only complaint of the cruise.
But I mean, like, what struck me, like, the first night we were there, right? So, like, somebody asked him, like, well, what beer do you have? And he was like, and you had no idea. Like, just had it, and then he had to go find out. And it's like, you kind of
Yeah.
know that. You know what I mean? Like,
That tells me
Yeah.
he's brand new for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our assistant server on the maiden voyage was tossed off in port because he was
couple
not
days
doing
in.
well. Yeah,
He was also
Yeah.
brand new. Yeah.
Yeah, we gave them a pass on that. Like, listen, and there were also a couple times where our food took a really long time to come out and came out cold. That happened, I don't know, a couple times in all of the restaurants. But, listen, the food was good overall. So like I said, our server was great with the kids. He was making them laugh and everything. And I don't think it was his fault. And I don't think it was the assistant server clearly was just didn't know what was going on. And yeah.
Did you have late dining or main dining?
Main.
Early. Yeah, we had the early dining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which was so
our
imperative.
kids
that we
crashed
did.
by 7:00. All the kids were crashed by 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
What did you think of Worlds of Marvel? We'll save Coco for last. What did you think of Worlds of Marvel?
So I loved Worlds of Marvel, right? So I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked the interactivity of it. I have to say the funniest part about this, we were talking about my daughter thinking that sharks were going to eat the ship. Well, on the first night when all the stuff is happening, where they, again, spoiler alert, they shrink the ship. My daughter actually thought the ship had been shrunk. She was very concerned about it. And then, all.
Can I tell you that's like the cutest thing ever?
It was
I
was
kind of
adorable.
love that.
Listen, it was
so
adorable.
Realistic and so done well.
It reminded me of when we went to Space 220 at Epcot,
God.
and we're going up the elevator, and my daughter goes, "Are we really going to space?" And of course, me being me, I go, "Yeah, we're going to space. Of course, we're going to space. Why wouldn't we be going?" Yeah, and then she starts getting kind of freaked out,
scared,
and then Karen says to her, she goes, "No, we're not really, sweetie. It's pretend." And then she gets more upset because now it's pretend.
Right.
Because she really wanted to go to space, and it's like no winning here.
She's also the child, though. We're watching Fantasmic today because I saw a really cool TikTok of the player in Magic Kingdom playing on the piano. And so I was like, we have to watch it, right? And she's like, "Mommy, I know how they did that. They totally had like a little trap door." I'm like, "Save the magic. Yeah. You're 7 years old. Come on."
But yeah, so she thought it was real, and it was cute, but it was also like, she was freaking out a little bit. The aesthetics of the restaurant are amazing. The effects that happen, the interactivity that happens. We like the food there too. We actually, one of the nights we got somebody got a drink, and the glass that it was in, like my brother-in-law, he's like, "I want this glass." And he's like, "I got to find out where they got this glass from." Because it was like really cool. It was like, I don't even know how to describe it. But then we said something to the waiter, like, "You know where they get these glasses from?" And the waiter, no joke, he said, "I didn't see anything if it disappears."
Exactly. Absolutely.
And I was like, I looked at my brother-in-law. I'm like, "Listen, I'm not stealing it, but if you feel like stealing it, that's up to you." Like, you go to steal it if you want.
Listen, all you have to do is walk out with it because you haven't finished it, right? You haven't finished your drink, and you take it back to your room, and
it's not stealing.
There are some glasses though where they pour it. They pour it into another cup where they're like, no, that can't leave the bar.
Those are usually, but those are usually like, so at the Rose, there are certain places where they have special glasses, and so and hooks, so where they'll pour something into a different glass for you, but not in main dining. That's not really a thing.
I will say the second night was fun too because they were doing Guardians of the Galaxy, and so as soon as I heard that was the case, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be fun music while we're sitting here." But it was also fun, like the little trivia game they did with the things on your table. So we like the interactivity. It kept the kids really entertained. It kept me entertained. I mean, I say the kids, but I was entertained by it too. And then also Spider-Man running around at one point. My only complaint about Spider-Man, and I don't think that there's any way they can fix this, is like Spider-Man was like running to each table and was there for like a hot second. You take a picture and he runs to the next table. But I get why that's the case. It's a huge restaurant. There's only one Spider-Man, right? So he's got to get to all those people very quickly.
Well, he's got to do one half at a time. They stagger the shows so that he can go from one side to the other. Yeah.
So I liked Worlds of Marvel, although I will say I think that was probably your parents' least favorite, maybe because they're not really into the superhero stuff.
Yes,
so
I think, and my mom actually was a little concerned with the little ones, that they were getting a little afraid for the first show. The second show was great. Like I love the second show. The music was fantastic. The trivia, like you said, it was funny. I don't think that my daughter and niece really understood what was happening the first
Yeah,
night.
yeah, I would
But I
agree.
get, you obviously have to play to everybody. So
It does bother me that Bradley Cooper can't be bothered to voice Rocket for the cruise ship. I mean,
it's like, come
clearly
on.
not him. Anyway, sorry.
What about Coco? Coco's our last
Oh my
restaurant.
gosh.
I think Coco was
I
our
will
favorite.
say,
Yeah.
Tom did such a great job because he was able to get us a table closer to the stage. We were actually right near the kitchen. And so we had like the wall, which was nice. So we had a little bit separate area. Well, Coco is one of my favorite movies to begin with. Just the music is incredible. Our daughter was so mesmerized by the music. She literally stopped just every time they would come on. It was amazing. The food, I really personally, I think that was one of my favorite places, was the food there. It was incredible. The one funny thing though was the lighting. Um, Tom was sitting next to my brother-in-law at one point, and they were looking at their food and then looking at like down the row, and it looked different. And apparently because of the lighting, just like it was kind of like an orangey yellow. It looked so different.
Yeah, and it made the food look really weird. And I'm looking at this food, I'm like, it's like this food looks weird. And then I would take it out of the
You
light, and I'm
move
like,
it in the other,
oh,
yeah, you moved it and it looked just fine.
I was like, this looks
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I mean, so I was really pumped for the croquettes there because I love croquettes, and I was really excited to have those, and those were delicious.
Oh,
They
you
had
liked them? I did not like those
I liked
croquettes.
them.
Oh,
I
okay.
liked
I
them.
liked them.
I thought they were really good. They were different than ones I'd had before, but they were good. I liked them. I also liked. I got a dessert that was like a chocolate cake that was also spicy. It was really interesting. It was right. It wasn't a chocolate cake. Yeah, and it was
Kind
like
of had like a little bit of chili or something in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, like a Mexican chili.
Yep.
yeah, but
Tahini
it
or
hits you in the
something.
aftertaste
Yeah.
though. Like you didn't taste it up front. Like
Yeah,
they
it's just the
told
heat
me.
on the back end. Yeah.
Yeah, and but the entertainment I think at Coco was the best by far. The singing, the dancing, the costumes, all of that was really fantastic. The way the entire restaurant is decorated is impeccable and just fantastic. I mean, it just we really loved going there. We had a beautiful restaurant. It was, and just, the singers were great. The musicians were great. I mean, it was all around. That was just a great experience. In fact, it's funny because I was just talking to my daughter. I said, was that your favorite restaurant on the ship? And she was like, yeah, this was my favorite, because she was enamored. She sat at the end of the table every time so she could be closer to the stage so she could watch the dancers and the singers and everything. So, yeah, it was great.
It's interesting though too, when we were there, the first night that we were there, it was actually really rocky on the boat. That was probably the only time that it was pretty rocky. We had some wind and whatnot. It was actually cooler where we were than in Florida, which was really shocking to us.
In the Caribbean, it was
But
cooler. Yeah.
I will say though, I don't know what they did, how they formed, the restaurant, but you could barely feel it in that restaurant. And knowing that like where you were on the ship, you would think that you would have been able to feel it. And I was getting nervous before we went to dinner because I'm like, nobody's going to want to eat because it's so rocky. And like, it was
I
fine.
thought I felt it more in that restaurant than any other restaurant, but than any other place on the ship, but that's neither here nor there. By the way, one of the times it was really rocky, we were walking by our room, and the captain just is right there and like walking very quickly down the hallway. And I'm like, that feels concerning. Like the ship's like rocking back and forth. And we just like all of a sudden the captain pops up and I look at his tag and I was like, oh, that's like the captain.
Well, to be
But
fair,
I think we were on the same
deck.
deck as the bridge. Yeah, I think we were on the same deck as the bridge. So
We were on the same deck. And I will say, Tom, should we tell them about what happened in the middle of the night?
oh yeah, we should talk about that. You didn't ask us this, but we got woken up at like 4:30 in the morning with an announcement to the whole ship that said, red team, report to incinerator room, level whatever. And I woke up and I'm like, okay, red team, incinerator room. Sounds like there's a fire. Like, right? And I wasn't that concerned about it because they figured and I know that I think they had a fire previously already in the incinerator room, and it went out and it wasn't a big deal. But it was like 4:30 in the morning, and they announced it to the whole boat. Everybody woke up, and it was a whole thing. And then, maybe a little bit later, I think the captain came on and awkwardly was like, everything's fine. Don't worry. He was like, we had a situation earlier, but all is fine. He didn't give any details about it. But again, red team and incinerator room, I just assume means fire.
Yeah,
But
I think we had that happen on one of our sailings, and like they're obligated to come through the staterooms about it. Yeah, and like they're obligated. Yeah, and so they're obligated for that. I think also sometimes medical emergencies in the middle of the night they broadcast all ship. So like it's usually only an emergency, but I think the captain came on later in the evening for us too and was like, everything's fine. It's all
Good.
contained. We're good. Not a big
Everything's
deal."
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people
but-
were mad because woke all the kids up, and but I was like, and like, why didn't they just announce it to like the staff or the crew rooms? But it's like, we figured they probably like legally had to announce it to the whole ship if there's something like that going on. And truthfully, I'd rather they announce it to the whole ship if that means they're going to take care of whatever's going on quickly.
All right. Well, we normally don't dive deep into this. And actually, before I do this, Tom, I just have to know the answer to one question. Did you go to Hooks and get an old fashioned?
I did not, although my brother-in-law did. They did. I'm not a drinker, so I didn't. But they actually knew about it. This was a thing I didn't know about. They did know about that they went and did. And they were, I think they were very pleased with what they got.
They said that was the best that they
best old fashioned
on the ship.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I did not. Unfortunately, I'm not a drinker, so I just
No, fair enough. Well, okay, we normally don't deep dive on Castaway because the focus is on the ship, but since this is your first trip to Castaway, it's like, the reason to go on Disney Cruise Line forever was to get to Castaway Cay. So what did you think of Castaway?
we loved it, I would say.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I'd go back in a heartbeat.
yeah. I mean, honestly, we had friends that just did a cruise on the Magic a couple weeks ago, and they did both the islands and like Nassau. And I was like, that sounds like an ideal cruise to me. Cause like we, you know what I mean? Those are ports we actually want to go to, is the islands. Like that's where we'll spend the day. So, but we loved Castaway. We got off the ship very early. So we could get a decent chair. We wanted to make sure we actually had tried, because we don't have any status. We couldn't get ourselves a cabana. We were going to get a private cabana. We just couldn't get it. Right. We got off early though. We got to the beach. First of
No
all,
problem.
no problems. But as Karen mentioned, it was kind of cold. This was early May. We walked into the ocean and I was like, woof, this is freezing. And if there was as I was making those comments, there was an older lady there and she goes, I'm from Florida. She goes, this is like ice cold to me. She's like, I'm used to, it being warmer than this. But we really enjoyed the food on Castaway. Actually, we thought the food was really good. And we had some really great conversations with a couple crew members while we were over there as well. I will say we did snorkeling. So we did go snorkeling. Interestingly enough, they had the first part of the snorkeling bay was actually closed because they had a fuel spill that they were cleaning up, which we watched them clean up. I don't know why fuel spilled into the snorkeling bay, but whatever. We did
They
see a
cleaned it up
stingray.
pretty quickly, though.
They did. Yeah, they did. We saw a stingray, which was pretty cool. And then my daughter did it too. My 7-year-old daughter actually, did the snorkeling. It took a while for my wife to convince her to do it, but we got out to Dumbo. And what else did we see? We saw Dumbo. I think we saw Minnie.
We didn't go all the way out though, because by that point,
It's a long swim.
Tom had gone.
It is
yeah.
a very long
It's a
swim.
very long swim. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had already
And
been in
Tom-
there for like 3 hours.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
I had to convince her quite a bit. And to be fair, I think that she and I should have gone sans the flippers, because I think that was part of the issues. For me, I know that was definitely the issue. It was kind of like weighing me down a little bit. But besides that, like, she loved it. She loved being able to see the fish. That was really, really cool. She actually was really upset that we had to leave the island.
Now that we left early to go see Moana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that
we
also
also did
With
explains
the slide, though.
Yeah. We did do the
The-
slide. Yeah.
the water not being warm, like it being cooler out also explains why there's more people back on the ship. Because like if that island is like, if it's just the perfect day, like no one leaves.
No one leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not cold, but I mean, like the air temperature was what, maybe low 80s, which was comfortable. But it's funny because as soon as we walked off the ship, when we got back to Port Canaveral, we were like, ugh. Like the Caribbean was so nice. The
Yeah.
humidity was low. The temperature was nice. We get to Florida, it's 90 degrees and 100,000% humidity. And so like, it just was, it was rough, but I mean, we loved Castaway though. We had a great time. Like I said, we really enjoyed the food too. We had a great time with the crew members there. Our brother-in-law did the 5K or whatever, 5K that on the island, which, I'm not going to do that because I'm on vacation and I don't want to do anything that involves exercising. And I want to do nothing. I want to do nothing. What else did we do? Oh yeah. So we did the slide. The slide was fun. Although I will say it's 6 feet of water at the bottom of the slide and you don't really think about that as you're doing it. And so, I can swim and everything, but I hit the water and I was like, whoa, Like I actually have to swim to get back up again, and then wait for my daughter to come down. Who even though she was wearing a life jacket, I knew she was going to freak out after she hit the water. But that was a lot of fun. What else did we do on Castaway? I'm trying to remember.
My niece and nephew did go over to the splash pad area, which was nice. They enjoyed that. But again, I feel like there wasn't enough time because we did go back on the boat. If we had, the next time, that we go, because we're going to go again, let's be real. I would love to stay a little bit longer. Like I said, our daughter was just happy, just staying in the water. She was looking at fish, just being able to enjoy that. And as Tom said, we talked to some amazing crew members there too. Just kind of learning about their experience, which was really nice because they were just all around. I will say, I don't know if this was your suggestion, but we went to the second tram stop, which was so much better. It was a lot more open. It didn't feel as crowded, and that was perfect for us.
It might have been their suggestion, but I definitely took credit for it.
You know what? Keep it, Tom. You can
I'll
keep
take
that
it.
credit.
There's not second tram stop TM. You're good.
It might have been Inception on your part. Like you might have put it in my brain, and then I was like, "This is my idea now." Clearly my idea.
Well, it sounds like an amazing cruise, but we have reached that point in the show where I need to subject you to Sam's arbitrary questions. Arbitrary rules and a dash of judgment are the round we call rapid fire. So, Sam.
All right, you guys. We don't have a ton of time, so I'm going to do a short version of rapid fire. We're going to talk Disney Cruise Line favorites only, but I'm going to answer the first question for you. I'm going to be asking you each the same question, and you're each going to answer with your favorite, not each other's favorite, not your daughter's favorite, not your brother-in-law's favorite or anything like that. I just want your individual favorites, okay? But I'm going to start with what's your favorite ship, and the answer is the Disney Treasure, obviously.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah. Actually, no, I think it might be the Magic.
You are not allowed to pick a ship that you haven't sailed on, Tom. So you're breaking the rules. These are my rules, okay?
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
We're going to start with what is your favorite Disney Cruise Line main stage show? And because you saw Beauty and the Beast and Moana, those are your two choices. Tom, which one was your favorite?
Moana was really great. Yeah.
Karen, which one was your
Moana.
favorite? All right, good answer. All right, what was your favorite bar space on board the Disney Treasure? Karen, we're starting with you.
That's easy.
Definitely Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, Haunted Mansion's the answer.
All right, okay.
For sure.
Favorite activity on board? This can be like going on the Aquamouse, hanging out on the pool deck, going to see shows. Like this can be anything.
Having coffee on your veranda.
Yeah, the bingo. Like it doesn't have to be an organized activity. Just to be clear, what activity means. Okay. So Tom, what was your personal favorite activity to do on the ship?
Is people watching? Does that count? No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. No, people watching counts though. If that's your favorite.
No, my favorite activity was eating those the knockoff Chipotle. I think.
I like it. I like it. Chipotle at sea. All right, Karen. What was your favorite onboard activity?
Honestly, I think just standing out on our veranda.
Yeah, I love it. All right, favorite rotational dining restaurant, Karen, and it can be because of the food, the atmosphere, the show, whatever. Your reason doesn't matter as long as it's your favorite. So, Karen, which one was your favorite?
Definitely Coco.
All right, Tom.
Coco. Definitely Coco.
All right. Okay. We're going to talk food now. We're going to talk a favorite sweet item and a favorite savory item because savories are the best. We save them for last, and that's my rule. So, Tom, we're going to start with you. What is a favorite sweet item that you had on board your Disney cruise?
Oh, man, that's a tough question.
I mean, it can be anywhere. It could be pool deck. It could be on Castaway. It could be from Marceline. It could be from main dining, wherever.
It was actually at Jumbo's. We went and got ice cream.
Stop taking my answers.
Sorry, I mean,
which ice cream was it, Tom?
Gosh, I don't remember. Did I get chocolate chip cookie dough? Maybe I don't know.
I'm a
basic man.
I think I got mint chocolate chip.
Yeah, we enjoyed the ice cream in there. The only problem with that place, not a lot of seating. But yeah, sorry, this is rapid fire. But
all right, Karen, your answer.
I mean, honestly, Jumbo's.
Jumbo's sweets. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now we're going to move to we save the best for last, and the savories are the best. So, Karen, what was your favorite savory food item on board your Disney cruise?
Honestly, anytime they had steak, they knew how to cook their steak.
I would agree. They have some good steaks on board. All right, Tom, favorite savory item.
There was a This is weird. I'm not a soup person, but there was a soup I had. It was like a corn soup of some sort.
Oh,
That
Ooh,
was
the corn
chowder.
chowder.
so good.
Really good.
It was so good. And I had soup almost every night. And I was like, oh man, this soup is so good. Yeah,
I like
it was really good. That's a random one, but corn chowder.
That's a good one. I love it. All right. Okay. I usually ask the ship question now, but I already answered that. So my last question is the last question I ask of every person who does my rapid fire, which is, what is your bucket list cruise? And what I mean by that is, if you could go anywhere in the world, but on a Disney ship, where would you go? And it doesn't have to be someplace that Disney Cruise Line currently sails. It can be just someplace that is feasible to go on a ship.
Just must have
Tom?
water.
It just must have water. Exactly. That's the only requirement. So, Tom?
It sounds like a conversation that's been going on in our house already. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about doing Alaska, so Alaska is probably up there, I would say.
Awesome. What about you, Karen? You
gonna
don't
say-
have to go to the same place as
She's gonna
Tom.
say
No.
Alaska.
No, I'm not actually, because I really want to go to Australia and New Zealand.
There you
You
go.
know what?
There you go.
All right, that's a good one too, because we want to see Bluey on the ship too, and you can only do that
Yes.
from those.
Listen, you can have
know
more
what?
there's more than one right answer to the bucket list cruise, because there's so many amazing places to go in the world, and a lot of them you can go on a ship. So I think those are both
what we'd
great
actually love
answers.
to do is we would love to be able to take the ship from California to Alani. That's what we really want to do. We want to take the ship to there, so we don't have to fly all the way to Hawaii.
You can.
Well,
not
from
California.
Vancouver, yeah, you
From
can take it from
Vancouver,
Vancouver, not from California.
There you go. We need to do that,
currently,
yeah.
but again, these are imaginary. They don't have to be real itineraries that currently exist. Even as I said, well, thank you so much for playing rapid fire. My only judgment is that you didn't see all three of the shows, and but there's only so much you can do, and there's only so much you can do on one cruise. So you've got goals for the next cruise. Speaking of next cruise, what's next? Did you guys book a placeholder? Have you booked a cruise? Or
It's kind of a touchy subject right now. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it is. Yeah, we did book a placeholder. Yes.
Okay. And what are you eyeing?
We're
Are you fighting over that? It sounds like.
No, it's not. It's not that him and I are fighting over it. We were going to try and see if we could do the family thing again, but timing wise, and it's not seemingly working out. However, Tom and I are still talking about doing something with just the three of us. We definitely want to. We even talked about going back to the Caribbean or going to New England. We really want to do Alaska, but we want to wait until our daughter's a little bit older to truly experience it, because I don't know if we're going to get to do it a second time. So I would rather, and we've even talked again about Hawaii, so we're definitely doing something next year for sure.
We just don't know what yet, or what ship. We know nothing.
I will put in a plug for Norway, which will get you kind of some of the experience of Alaska without kind of all of the super active, I feel like, shore excursions. Plus, the fjords are protected, and they're incredible. They're incredible to see. And I don't know how much longer cruise ships are going to be able to sail up the fjords. So.
But the problem is going to be school year timing. So that's going to be the problem.
That's our big problem right now, because our daughter is
Yeah.
going into second grade. And so we really are very limited the times that we can take vacation. It was easier before because we just pull her out, because it's like, oh, it's kindergarten, who cares?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We had that attitude all through elementary school. We were like,
now that we just he's
now that
starting
he's
middle
school, it's a different
he's starting middle
story.
school, but the last year we've been trying to cut back too, because it gets harder as every year it gets harder. Well, you guys, thanks so much for coming on the show. Tom, why don't you tell folks where they can find you on all the socials, where they can find your podcast, if they want to follow along with the Welcome Home podcast and perhaps join the community.
Yeah, so there's a lot of places you could find us. We do we don't do as nearly as much video content as you guys do. We do a food only show on YouTube though, where we talk about Disney Parks food. Our main show is Welcome Home Podcast, so you can find that like anywhere where there's podcasts, right? We're on all the platforms. Anywhere you can just search for Welcome Home Podcast. There are a couple, just like the one that says Disney and has the castle in it. That one's us. You can find us there. We also have Welcome Home Podcast on Facebook. We do have a Facebook group called Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, which is just kind of like a group of DVC people that, chat, and it's a no drama group. It's nice if you like no drama. Karen's my social media coordinator. So, she does all my Instagram posts because I'm old and I don't understand how Instagram works. So, I think it's like Welcome Home Pics or something like that. That sounds right. And then, of course, the YouTube channel is also Welcome Home Podcast too. So yeah, just check us out. We just, like I said, we chat. We have a good time. Brian, you've been on the show. Sam, you guys have both been on the show. You know what we do. We just hang and have a good time and laugh and don't take ourselves too seriously. So
nice. Well, Tom, Karen, thank you both for taking some time out of your day to come on and share your cruise experience with our audience. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having us on. It was really nice to chat with you.
For sure. Thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it.